not going to leave us like that to die helplessly. So he will come and save us. Hypothesis number 2. Hypothesis number 3, of which as great a personality as Professor Hawking is one of those proposers of that hypothesis, is that we'll escape from the earth. We'll go somewhere, colonize that planet, and then we'll be living happily ever after, as any fairy tale ends with. And they lived happily thereafter. Again, a doubting Thomas like me. I am a doubting Thomas. And I look at it like this. I said, first thing you told about was that we should require a clean technology. Give me one name, one, from the entire world. One particular company or factory or research institute which is involved in the development and use of clean technology. And they don't have an answer. It's unfortunate, but they don't have an answer. Even if a particular substitute for the crude oil is found to be technologically viable, even then it's not produced. The reason is that the people who have invested trillions and trillions of dollars in the crude and the processing of it, they cannot sit quiet, and if some idiot comes forward and says, if you take out the oil of the seeds of the drumsticks that you use for making your curry tasty, that's a wonderful substitute for the crude oil. This has been proved by the Veeramata Jizabai Technical Institute, or once upon a time it was called as Victoria Jubilee Technical Institute. They have kept the initials the same, but the name is changed now. Veeramata Jizabai Technical Institute. Supposed to be one of the best institutes, at least in our country, best engineering institute. They have found this out. They have proved this. Or would any idiot come forward and say, I'll invest about a couple of crores of rupees and let's do it even on an experimental basis? The answer is no. Crude oil is ready. All that I have to do is to pay dollars and import it. And then all my cars, a couple of lakhs of them I am told are in Pune only, they must run on that. What happens to the environment? What happens to the ozone layer? That somebody else will take care of. I said, give me one single name of a technological institute which is working in developing these kinds of clean technologies. Unfortunately, there is none. I give you the name of that VJTI, but then what came in the way was not technology. What came in the way was economics. And economics is a bad science right from its birth. It's called a dismal science, a disgustingly bad science. Because it doesn't have any scruples. It only knows how much I pay and how much I get. There has to be a consumer surplus in anything that I consume. That means the price should be sufficiently low and the level of satisfaction that I draw from it should be high. And we have been 4.5 decades I have taught this subject to the people, and even at this stage I am not convinced about that is the end of all human being or human life. Certainly no. Should we not have something better to live for other than getting that so-called consumer surplus? I am at a loss to understand, believe it or not. Having studied the subject for 6 years, having taught for, as I told you, 4.5 decades, and having taught it in an honest way. That's an important part of it. That is the second question. Where is that clean technology producing institute in the world? The highest, the most sophisticated, the most advanced of them happens to be the NASA, National Aeronautical Space. Now this is supposed to be the best institute which has the top-notch technologists of the world, and be happy if you want to be. A great majority happen to be from this country, from our country. Even this institute or this particular organization, is it ever interested in producing a clean technology? The answer, unfortunately, is no. They want somebody else to do it. That's not the kind of job we have. Hypothesis number 3, that God will come to our help. After all, He has created us in His own image, as the Bible says. I am, as I told you, a doubting Thomas. So I asked that question again to these guys who tell me about God. Just think of how many different galaxies, to our knowledge, exist in the world. One of the smallest among them is the galaxy in which we are living. One of the smallest galaxies in the entire universe, which we call as Milky Way, is our galaxy. How big is it? The diameter, it's usually an oblong or an elliptical. The shorter diameter of the two is 100,000 light years. Please work out how many it turns out to be in terms of kilometers if you want. 100,000 light years. That means light takes 100,000 years to pass from one end of that galaxy to the other end of the galaxy, and this galaxy is one of the smallest, if not the smallest. There are huge spaces, huge that you cannot imagine, in the sky, in the space, which are empty, totally void. And we do not know why they are so. Now look, whosoever that God may be, who created this earth, created the universe, how many different departments is he supposed to handle as the chief executive officer of this universe? And where is earth in that? It's one of the smallest, if not the smallest galaxies, in that, an insignificant star, please understand, insignificant star is our sun, against which a speck of dust is our earth, in which somewhere for an insignificant period of time, something like 5 lakhs of years, which not even a moment of 1 single second in the cosmic watch, this mischievous animal called human being existed about a couple of lakhs of years. What does that matter to God, who is managing and owning such an entire cosmos, that in some insignificant sun, in some insignificant galaxy, somewhere in a corner of it, one speck of dust on which this animal existed for a couple